Have you ever been uncomfortable in the role of villain, or when does Charles Barkley get bothered by what someone else thinks? Obviously, people who you respect, that one bothers you, right? If they're upset with you.
Well, what do you mean respect? I respect my homeboys and my friends.
That's what I mean.
I don't worry about the public or the media, because you have to understand something. And one thing about being famous is half the people like what you say and half the people dislike what you say. You know that now. You've been in the game long enough. Like when you write an article that says something on the radio, half the callers going to call in or half of them going to email or send you letters disagreeing with what you say. You know, it's kind of like being the homecoming queen at a high school. Everybody hates the pretty girls. It's like I always tell people, it's like, remember the smart kids in high school, you always hated them? And the only reason you hate them because you were dumb. You know, and it's like I say, everybody hates the pretty girls in high school because they're ugly. So you have to learn when you're going through fame, like, wow, you know, LeBron's going through it now. LeBron's a great kid. He's a great player. But there's so many people who root against him, it really pisses me off. You know, it does. It really annoys me because the guy's a great kid. He's a great player. I think by the time he's finished, he's going to be one of the 10 greatest players ever. But you hear some of these reporters and some of these fans, man, they just haters. You know, I'm not big on using the word hater, but how can you hate somebody who's that successful, who's that great at his job? But that's what we have created with fame now. If you're great at something, people just dislike you because you know, I always tell these guys, when somebody takes shots at you, you have to realize what they're really trying to say. What they're really trying to say is, your life is great, mine sucks. Let me try to bring you down to my level. So you can't never let people do that to you.
Charles Barkley with us on 790 The Ticket. I know you've told us many times before that you don't care who wins or loses, but I imagine that some part of you, because LeBron is getting beat up so much, I imagine that some part of you is rooting for him.
Well, I always root for LeBron because when you're a great player and you don't win the championship, people can always hold that over your head. So I always root for those guys in all sports. You know, I rooted for Dan Marino. You know, I rooted for Karl Malone when they wasn't playing us and John Stockton and Patrick Ewing and those guys. You know, like I'm watching golf right now. I'm rooting for Luke Donald and Lee Westwood, you know, because, like, man, these guys are the greatest players in the world, but they never won a major. So I always root for those guys. You know, I picked the Heat to win this series. I think they got a really good shot. I think people now are starting to come around to my, you know, you think, Dan, I think, like, all these people who talk about basketball don't know anything about basketball. And I've been saying this all year because I like just watching the Miami Heat team play on a consistent basis. I said, man, the Heat is only going to go as far as LeBron takes them. The guy he is so special with his talent level. He makes everybody around him better. If he doesn't play great, they're not going to win because they got so many holes on that team. I mean, they're a very small team, and they don't have a lot of depth. But it's so much pressure on LeBron. I think it's a lot. I really think it's unfair. Now, they lost to Dallas because Dallas had a better team. I actually think OKC has a better team. The reason I picked Miami to win the series, I thought LeBron finally came to the conclusion, like, wow, I am the best player in the world. I can dominate every night if I play at a certain level, if I play at a really, really high level and bring everybody with me. And I think he started to realize it the last couple rounds because he was magnificent when things got bad against Indiana. He's like, man, I got to play like I did when I was in Cleveland. And he does. And then the same thing against the Celtics. When things go bad, you know, because somebody said something, and I don't know if it's true, because then you want a few media guys I really like and respect, to be honest with you. I think and I can't remember where I heard it, says, you know, Dan LeBatard said, when things go great, it's Dwayne Wade, and when things go bad, it's LeBron. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Because that's 100% true. And the thing that's funny, I told a couple of my friends, they're like, man, why don't you keep saying that Dwayne shouldn't be the closer? I said, because LeBron's a better player, and he can cover up more flaws on that team. And the reason I said, let me ask you a question. Last year in the finals, when Dwayne was on the team. Why does LeBron get all the bad press about he can't finish? Couldn't Dwayne have a finish? He was on the team.
Well, one of the weird things, Charles, that's happened with this team is that when Wade takes the last shot and misses the last shot, the conversation becomes not about Wade missing the last shot.
Why didn't LeBron take it?
Yeah, like that's not fair.
It's not fair at all. Dan, it's a joke to me. Like I say, it's really frustrating for me because I really think that LeBron, because I like everything about LeBron, but I think it's just a joke how people just hate on LeBron so much. Even when he don't do anything, he gets a bad break. And, it's all led by old punk-ass Skip Bayless.